Hello everybody, it's Tim here again, here with another movie review, this time for the movie Weapons. This is directed by the guy who did Barbarian. Why this movie is called Weapons, I have no idea, and I never really got why his other film was called Barbarian. It really doesn't make any sense. As far as this film goes, from 1 to 5 stars, I'd give it a 3.5 out of 5. This is a really good movie. It is not a great movie. It is not an amazing movie. This is not a masterpiece, but it is really good. I'd actually even say Barbarian is better than this, to be honest, but this is still really good. And the reason I throw that out there is because this movie had a lot of hype going into it, and I was going into this, I was expecting something to be like awesome. Watching it, I'm like, yeah, this is really good. This is not great. This is not as good as Sinners. Like, I saw some people like hyping this up. Sorry about that cough. Hyping this up to be like, sorry about the traffic in the background. I had my door opened over here just to get some air in here because it's hot as shit. But saw some people hyping this up to be like on the level of Sinners or whatever. But no. This doesn't even come close to Sinners as a movie. I will say though, this is more of a horror movie than Sinners was, somewhat. But it's still not on the level of Sinners in terms of like filmmaking or whatever. Like, I heard Jordan Peele like really wanted this script, and I can kind of see why. But at the same time, I'm like, it's not an amazing script. It's a good script, but it's not like mind blowing. But still, this is a really good movie. It's a 3.5 out of 5. Pretty much you got a bunch of kids that go missing, and then you got a dad played by Josh Brolin, and then you got this female teacher or whatever who the people in the town kind of blame, they're suspicious about. Granted, because all the kids from her class like disappeared or whatever, so her specific class except one boy. So they're investigating her. When the movie starts out, you're kind of like, well, why don't they investigate like this one boy more or whatever? Like, why aren't they finding stuff out about him? By the time you get to the end of the movie, you kind of get why, because it shows you flashbacks of what exactly happened. I do like how the movie's kind of split into like little artsy chapters or whatever with each character's name to kind of like come together by the end of the movie to show you the full picture of the film and what happened in it. I like that. At the same time, though, when this started, I thought this was going to be more a mystery film with like the audience trying to decipher clues and stuff to figure out what happened to the kids and everything. And it was going to be kind of like maybe a more ambiguous type answer or whatever that happened to the kids, and it may have been left up to like the audience's interpretation. I thought that's where this was going, but no, the movie literally just spells it out. It's just this old bitch witch or whatever who's this little kid's aunt, the one kid that didn't go missing. She basically just used him to get like the stickers or whatever off all the kids, like little pail things or whatever where they put their school books and everything in, so she could basically use them to bewitch them to get all the kids to like run to her specific location. Pretty much you find out she's dying and that she moved back in to stay with her sister and her sister's husband and the kid or whatever, her I guess nephew. And she was going to, I suppose, like try to drain the life off of them or whatever, or try to live or try to get out of her sickness. But that doesn't work, so she tries to like do it to all these kids. Is basically what the film kind of hints at. Is what she's going to try to do with the children, is like zap their youth or whatever, or life force, so she can like become stronger and get rid of her sickness that way. I will say they're talking about doing a prequel to this character, like a standalone prequel, and I'm like, this character's not really that complex. Like, there's only like little things here that are kind of missing that you could kind of explain in a prequel, like a standalone prequel, but it's not really worth doing a whole movie over. Like, basically, like, they say she's been like missing for 15 years or whatever, and she hasn't had contact with her sister in that long. So we assume that she's probably been out like studying witchcraft or something. That's honestly probably how she got sick, and now she's trying to use the witchcraft to like heal herself as well. So it's like, why did she just leave her sister, not wanting any contact with her? Why does she not even care about her sister to the point where she's like bewitching her? Or does she care about her sister, but she still is actually still willing to like bewitch her anyway because she cares more about surviving? Like, what happened there with that relationship? Why did she leave for 15 years? And I hope it's not something in the prequel where it's like, oh, she got drove away, feel sorry for her Aunt Gladys or whatever. I'm like, no. But yeah, this character doesn't really need a whole movie dedicated to her. I just don't see it. Maybe it'll work though with the same director, but I'm like, you don't really need it. But yeah, that's pretty much the only questions I had about the character. Other than that, most of the things here are pretty easy to infer when it comes to the character. She just basically wants to help herself, so she bewitches her sister and her sister's husband. Um, so she can basically control them, to hold them hostage, to get the kid to do her bidding to help her get the other children. Josh Brolin is like searching for his kid or whatever. Josh Brolin does make a comment about, well, have you been using like K9 units or whatever to like find the children or whatever? And the cops like, well, that we don't report to you or whatever. They don't report to you. The other police officers who are doing this don't. But that's a good question. Like, if they're using canine units to just like smell where the kids ran, they just went to this one specific house. You think they'd be able to find them? Like, well, what the fuck? It's not explained at all. That is a plot hole. Another thing is that the teacher character, she like is following like the kid or whatever, the last one in her class, because she thinks he might have some connection to this. She pretty much wants to, try to see if she can uncover something. She follows him to his house, and she like waits outside, and one of the parents who are bewitched in like the middle of the night comes in there and sneaks in her car, cuts off a lock of her hair, so the witch could control her if need be, but she never does. She never uses it to do anything, which is weird. That was almost like a misdirect that was just there for like no reason, or I felt like something was like cut out, because it amounts to nothing. So it's just kind of a plot hole or a logic hole. But yeah, Josh Brolin ends up looking around or whatever, trying to find out clues, and he does kind of start to form an idea of a pattern or whatever of where the kids might have went. I will say this movie does get a little goofy at times, to a point where it gets a little humorous, where I was laughing at times. Like the witch, like she bewitches like this, the guy who runs the school or whatever, so he'll go kill the teacher because she's asking too many questions, and he's like doing the same run the kids did with his arms out to his side, like running like that. And they do that so much in this movie, I did start to laugh. And he's like chasing after her and everything, and he ends up getting run over, and Josh Brolin like ends up teaming up with the teacher so they can find out what the fuck's going on. And then by the end of the movie, they get inside the house or whatever, and they gotta do battle with the witch. Josh Brolin ends up getting took over or whatever, or mind controlled by the witch, but he gets like but the little kid or whatever who's in the house gets revenge on the witch or whatever, his aunt, by taking like her little magic stick that she's using to control the children, and he breaks it, which causes the children to like go after the witch who put the curse on them. Basically, I guess that's the default of the spell, and like runs after the witch or whatever, and she's like, oh my god," running through the neighborhood. It does get a little funny there. And then when the kids like find her and like rip her apart or whatever, it is a little over the top, like a zombie film, and it does feel a little out of place in this movie. But at the same time, it is satisfactory because the witch is, well, a bitch. So when she gets like ripped apart, you're like, ah, I mean, it's obviously her comeuppance. But yeah, and then it gets to the end, and Josh Brolin gets reunited with his kid, who we saw earlier in the film, like as an acting like an asshole. And by the time I got to the end, and Josh Brolin got there to like get his kid or whatever, I said, "Oh, I bet his is gonna be the asshole kid. I bet that's what they're gonna do." And then he shows up there, and it is the asshole kid. So he gets his kid back, and you find out in like an epilogue, like voiceover. I don't know why this film had a voiceover in the beginning and the ending. You didn't need it. It kind of takes away from it, and it feels like a little kid who's doing the voiceover. You really don't need that at all in this film, in my opinion. It would have been spookier without it. And that's another thing, is this film really doesn't go for like a horror vibe. Like, it doesn't have a lot of like scenes of actual horror. Like, it really just spells out the mystery of what's going on, like pretty quick, to be honest. And in terms of like just the atmosphere overall of the movie, it really doesn't go for like trying to be scary. It's mostly for the first like part of the movie. First act is really just about like how the teacher feels about being persecuted or whatever by the town because they think she had something to do with the children going missing. That's really it. It really doesn't go for like a hardcore horror feel. But overall, yeah, this was still a really good movie in terms of a movie. But it's not scary, and a lot of times it doesn't even feel like it tries to be. So if you're in this film because you think it's gonna be like this hardcore horror, you probably will leave disappointed. But scary is relative, really. Like, what's scary to somebody is not scary to somebody else. Like, to me, I'm not going to get scared of any movie, so I'm not just going to enjoy a horror movie just because it's scary. You can be scary, have scary scenes, but have a shit plot, and I'm still not going to like you. This film has a good plot, but it just has some logic holes here and there, and the ending, like I said, is just a little out of place. But yeah, overall, it's still really good. This is a 3.5 out of a possible 5. It's a really good movie. It is not on the level of something like Sinners or whatever this year at all, but it is really good. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you again.